What's up again, all you cool cats and kittens? We are here with another video. Today we're going to be doing the front and rear valve cover gaskets on this 2008 Acura MDX. If you guys follow my channel, you know that the last leak that I had to track down was coming from the oil filter housing underneath the engine. The reason why I'm doing these valve covers today is because when we get out of the car, you can still smell a burning smell of obviously oil. It's not the engine burning the oil. You can tell that the oil's leaking onto the exhaust. And one way I could tell is when I came up underneath the engine here, every time I do my oil change, I always see some blowback coming on over there towards the transmission differential. I always see oil residue on this oil pan, and then when I start looking from above, you can see that O2 sensor has oil on it. And let's see, well, we'll get some more views from the top here after I get this cover off. But these engines are just known to leak, and we're gonna do a walkthrough video today, step by step, on how to exactly change it. Some of the basic tools you're gonna need are over here. You know, this is the gasket set from O'Reilly's. This was about 50 something bucks, about $50 out the door. Of course, you can get it online at Rock Auto for about 20. It was like 25 bucks plus like $12 shipping to where I am in Texas. It was gonna still be about 45 bucks. But this is the part number VS50607R. And you're gonna get your front and rear gaskets. You're gonna get your little gaskets for the valve cover itself, and then your spark plug tube seals here. But yeah, I just have pretty much some basic, pliers here that have the 90-degree bend, some Honda Bond. You could also use Permatex. They have a gasket maker as well. But yeah, Honda Bond. I'm using a little impact ratchet and a couple of sockets. Your basic Honda sizes, 10, 12. I'm not sure, I'm not gonna need a 17 on this one, but I probably will need a 14 somewhere. And we'll probably just swap that out for actual sockets instead of ratchets. All right, so first things first, let's get this top cover off here. Let's see, let's get that off so we can at least also identify this leak. In this video, you know me by now, guys, I don't spend a lot of time editing. I just try to make straight to the point videos that can help you guys out. So the video may be choppy, but it's all in all, you're going to get exactly what you need out of it. So you can see there, this is a very notorious spot, this corner right here, where this valve cover is going to leak. And it's actually looks like it's leaking. Let's see if I can show you here. Got this big old phone here. Sorry, I had to turn it upside down. But that's another area it's leaking on right there. And I would imagine if I could get my camera down there, yeah, the front of the valve cover is leaking too, which would explain why it's on the O2 sensor that we just identified below. All right, so I'm gonna set this phone up on the tripod and pretty much just get to work. The next step here is going to be removing the air box. So let me go ahead and set this up and I'll be right back. Alrighty, first step first, it's going to be a size 10. Oh, excuse me, hold on, excuse me, size 8. It's going to be a size 8. Size 8 for your air box here. And by the way, this is going to apply to all of your Honda V6s, and that goes all the way back to your 2000, early 2000 J32 V6 engine up until probably your J30, I think they're J36s these days. So alright, so we've got the air box loose. Looks like we need another one here. Looks like a size 6 down here for this clip. Nope. Let's try something smaller. This is a size 5. It's not that. Got one more there we have to get out of there. And we'll use our Phillips screwdriver again. For all you people that like to do preventative maintenance like me, now's a good time to go ahead and swap out your air filter. Since you already have it off, you might as well do it. And I'm gonna end this video here and come back once I get the air box off. All right, next step, we're gonna start working on this intake manifold. As you can see, air filter has been removed. So now we're going to work on the intake manifold in order to get that off so we can access the valve covers themselves. And for this, you are going to need a size 10. And for me, I'm going to gently remove this. Let me go get my little tray for my. If you don't have one of these, go to Harbor Freight. Go get you one. It's like $3. Keep all your screws and nuts in the same place so you don't lose them. Just that simple, that easy. All right, so we want to remove this. Oh. All right, one tool I forgot to mention, and I'm sorry guys, I had to stop that video short. My wife came out. She needs some tools as well. She's about to hang up some kind of like a shade, like a blackout curtain in our son's room. So my apologies, but you'll need something like this, a rubber mallet. I suggest just to bang these aluminum covers so you can bang them off without causing any major damage to anything. We'll also get our flathead out so we can try and pry that up. The reason why we're prying that up is because there's 5 bolts, I believe it's 5 bolts under here that allow us to actually pull the intake manifold itself off. All right, so, check this out. You gotta make sure you get all your connections. And this is my first time doing it on a V6 on this particular engine, so we're kind of doing this together. I did watch some other good videos and just decided to make one to add to my channel for you guys. You got a plug here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Just one connector And that pops off there. Should be ready to remove this. All right, I'll probably clean that up as well. All right, so before we continue with these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts under here, oh, some other bolts over here too, we're gonna start disconnecting some of our hoses. So we have a hose, some vacuum hose here. Let's see if you can see that. Yep, we got a vacuum hose back there. We have 2 of those. We have another one over here. Let me try to zoom in a little bit and angle this up a little bit. Kind of get a better vantage point on what we're doing here. All right. So I'll come back when I have all these items loosened up. But again, it looks like it's just hose here, 2 hoses, whoops, 2 hoses in the back. Here, let me try to do something here. All right, there we go. 2 hoses in the back. You're gonna have that hose there, and you're also gonna have to get this throttle body off. Or if you don't want to take the throttle body off, dang it, I'm sorry, I'm catching everything, guys. If you don't want to take the throttle body off, you could just remove these 2 lines from the throttle body, but these do have coolant in it. So be prepared to lose some coolant, but you could just go 1, 2, 3, and 4, or I think it's just 3. 1, 2, 3. Should be a 4th one down there. So, oh, 4. There is a 4th one. Take the throttle body off so that you don't even have to disconnect these lines, okay? So I'll be back when all this is done. All right, just want to check in with you guys real quick. I just got the throttle body off. Just want to mention a few things here. So the throttle body does have these 2 longer bolts. These were at the bottom 2 screws on the throttle body housing. Plus you had the 2 nuts here for the top screws. And they're the same size, so you don't have to do, you don't have to remember which one went where. Throttle body's off. Then this gasket is what I wanted you guys to see. This thing is very, very flimsy, and just be careful not to tear that. When I was taking the throttle body off, it was actually, a part of it was stuck to the top of the throttle body, and the other half was stuck to the actual bottom of the intake manifold. So, if you would have ripped that off, if you would have went too fast, that could have easily tore, and then you would have created another problem for yourself trying to track down that gasket, or possible vacuum leak, things like that. So I'm still working on getting the intake manifold itself off. So I will actually check back in once I've done so. Wanted to add one more thing I just spotted. There's a little bracket that goes here to the intake manifold. Both of these are going to be a size 10, little size 10 nuts. Take that off, and you can just tuck that behind. So I believe at this point, everything is clear, and we're ready to unbolt the intake manifold. So let me bring the camera around here. Let's see. Zoom out a little bit, and let's get to work. All right, these looks like they are size 12. Size 12. And if you look in there, it's not really a lot of bolts, but I know for sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I'll double check if I have to remove anything over here or that nut there. So we're just, like I said, trial and error on this. Typically valve cover gaskets are all going to be the same, whether it's a 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, 8-cylinder. So just a matter of getting to know your particular vehicle and what it takes and trying it out for yourself. I don't know if there's supposed to be this much oil inside of this thing, which is kind of concerning. All right, let's see. Yeah, looks like they all have to come out here. All these size 12. Yep, I just got movement on the, there you go. There you go. So can you see that? It's loose. ready to come out. All right, so we're just gonna pull these puppies out of here. I'm gonna choose to leave these nuts, leave the bolts in the position that they're in as I lift this out. All right, and there it is. That's your intake manifold. Very, very light. Very, very light. All right. Now we're cooking with gas here. So let's get a closer look and see exactly what all this looks like once you take it off. Oops, sorry for my camera. I had this tripod I'm trying to get used to here. And that's your intake runners there, which suck air, into each port. All right, so when we're looking at the actual valve covers themselves, we have one there, and we have our rear one back there, both of which just have a few more items that we have to disconnect, one of which being the harness for the actual coil packs, and there's a bracket here that holds that harness. And let's see, looks like we need to take out our oil dipstick for the front one. And seems to be it for now. Oh, and then of course, take the coil packs themselves out. And then you have, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's a fifth one. There you go. 5 bolts on the front valve cover. So I'll be back once we get these items moved out the way. Starting off with our size 10s. This bracket here. Right now would also be a great time for you to do a thermostat. I could see where the thermostat housing is. I know I did a motor mount video. This kind of reduces some of that, makes some of that access a little easier. So, now's a good time to do a lot. You can do your power steering pump, which is right there. Of course, you can do your spark plugs if you're already here too. So, just something to think about. All right, so we want to unplug all of our coil packs there. And let's see, we have something holding us down over here. So it looks like, I don't know if you guys can see that way back there. Let me adjust this. There's a plug. Looks like the coolant temperature sensor is one of them. And I'm not exactly sure what this valve is there. Let me show you guys what I just unplugged. That plug there, and then this one here. And that should help us, let's see. Oh, you know what? There's something else you have to do here. Let's see. You got to open this up and pull the harness out of this actual cover. So let me get that done for you guys as well. All right, let me adjust this. Cool. This looks like just a couple of clips here. Let's see. Make sure. You know what? Hold on. Oh, I see. So this actually separates from the bracket. You just move forward on these little tabs, and that will separate the harness from the bracket itself. All right, I just want to show you guys something. This is indicative of how long of a leak this thing, how long this thing's been leaking. If you see my hands here, let me show you exactly where this leak came from. All right, pick this up. So in order to get this harness loose a little bit more, there's 2 plugs down here. One you're gonna, oops, hold on, there we go. One you're gonna have to unsnap that from that bracket right there. And then the other 2 are right here, which one goes to the O2 sensor and another one goes straight to that plug, which I think is the bottom O2 sensor. But you can just tell, I mean, the connectors are soaked with oil. My hands are soaked with oil. So this is definitely needed to be an issue that I needed to tend to sooner than later. So I'm glad I'm actually taking care of this. But I want to show you exactly what we're dealing with, which is a freaking mess. Freaking mess. All right. So as I mentioned, I'll be back once I get this freaking valve cover gasket off of here. Oops. Alrighty, so I have everything loose. Valve cover is ready to come out. Let's take a note. We have to take a note of the screw sizes. Screw sizes are actually, let me move this camera a little bit closer so you guys can at least get a better angle of what the hell. Maybe that was the better angle. Let's see. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. We are working on the front gasket still. Alright, so you see that screw here. You got one. The one that comes out the back here, a little bit longer. It's two. See, two different sizes. Let's see what's coming out the front here. Look, is that longer? Nope, that's the same size. So it looks like the front screws. Let's see. All right. So we got 3 so far that are the same length. And the last one here is also the same. Okay, so you have four screws here that are the same length and one small one, which went in that hole right there. So these are all going to be changed out as well. These little rubber seals. All right, so again, coming back with our rubber mallet to kind of shake this thing up a little bit. Shake this puppy up. All right, let's just try to use a flathead and pry it up. See, it's coming up right now. All right, guys, this puppy is loose. There we go. Valve cover is coming off. Just got to get it around this hose out. Make sure you guys can see what I'm doing. Yep, I'm going out and around this harness here, and we got our hose here, and blammo, it's out. Let's see me. Zoom this out. There you go. Valve cover's out. And actually, you see the gasket still stuck onto the engine here, and it is crispy. I'll pull this thing off. Here we go. See, down here in the front is very, very crusty. And the edges is crusty as well. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a razor blade or something to cut that off. It broke on me, you see that? Yeah, this thing is very, very hard and brittle. Yeah, we have to get a razor blade and clean up that edge here. Well, this is a mess. This is an absolute mess, guys. I'd recommend, if you can maintain this somehow and not wait like me, do it. Man. All right. There's the whole damn gasket, torn apart, brittle. Hands are a mess. So we're gonna get ourselves cleaned up a little bit, clean up that surface area, and then come back and finish the job. Before I end this little clip here, let me go ahead and show you what we actually have to clean up. This is a mess. All right, let me get my tripod free here. But you can see, still see bits. See that black stuff right there on the. That's still the rubber gasket left over, and then we're going to clean up. We're going to clean up all those edges there, and then we'll have our new mating surface ready with our new gaskets. I want to show a quick video after I've cleaned up the edges here. Let me zoom out a little bit. Yeah, that gasket was stuck and caked on in this very front section, so I tried to use a razor blade. That didn't work out so good, so I just used my little flathead screwdriver just to pick up, get those pieces off of there. And then currently I'm degreasing the front valve cover. I mean, look how murky it is, just murky and grimy. And then I'll come back once I have the new spark plug tubes and the new gasket seated, and then we'll kind of go from there on where to put the Honda bond and things like that. So be right back. All right, right now, this part of the video, we're going to focus on our spark plug tube seals, which are going to be those 3 black rings and the actual gasket itself. For this, I'm going to use a flathead screwdriver, try and put it up underneath here and pry these out. And if not, let's see if I can get a good. All right, so we're not getting anything on that, so I'm going to actually use this smaller flathead and a hammer to get in between here to actually bend it out and pop it out. Let's do that. So as I'm working on this, you guys take a note of the additional tools that I've grabbed. I mean, it's different than what I said you would need, and you know, to be expected, right? They just come out just like that. So that's one. That's 2. Make a note of the orientation. The little ridge here goes up. As you can see, it does not install downward like that. Okay, so keep an eye on your orientation of your spark plug tube seals. That. And you're going to pry those 3 out. Now these are pretty murky in there if you can see it. So we're going to take a quick moment and clean those out and be right back for the installation. Alright, so we got them all cleaned out, and now we're just going to install all of these. You might want to use some lubrication to seat them. So I'm going to actually grab, I'm actually going to grab some silicone. I have a silicone spray here that's going to be good. It's going to be easier on rubber than, you know, like WD-40 would be. So I'm just getting those seated there, and then we're actually going to come back with our rubber hammer. Seated here. Got them all lubed up. And we're going to come, well, we might be able to bang them in gently here. Yeah, they don't really push in with these, so you're going to need either your rubber hammer, which I'm going to go grab. Just so we can try to whack this evenly. Using the corner of my mallet here. Oops. Then I'm gonna use my screwdriver here to see if I can just bang the edges down. Nope. Yeah, using a screwdriver, be careful not to damage the new seal, but it does help seat these puppies. So just knocking down the sides, making sure it's flush all the way around. You don't want any oil or anything coming back up to these areas here. So you spend some time making sure it's flat. So this one I thought was done, and it's not. And again, guys, you'll be able to see and notice whether the thing is flush or not. That's in there, that's in there. This one I would like to go in a tad bit more. Doesn't seem to be. There we go. There it is. Okay. Alright. There we go. So it might be best to put your screwdriver a little bit there. Alright, so let's go ahead and install the new gasket to the valve cover. You see these, just take a note of these little notches. They are, take a note of these notches here and here. They are offset. So make sure this is lined up so you guys can see it. So you have one notch up here, push down in there, push it in there and around. Just line it up. And make sure it fits nice and snug, which it does. All right. Now we'll take our new valve cover in a second. We're gonna go prep. We're gonna go prep the actual surface with the Honda Bond. Cut my light back on here. We'll get this baby seated again. Let's get you guys a good viewing angle here. And let's swing you around over here. Oops. But we're going to put our Honda Bond here, top corner. And also down there. And I'll probably just add some around the edges too. I may even add some down here since that seemed to be really a problem area. But once you put the new gasket on it doesn't really matter. I mean, the Honda Bond is just going to act as an additional sealant in the corners. Since the way this engine's angled, you are going to get more oil build up here on this, along this bottom edge than the top edge. So that's really my purpose for doing it. I'm sure other people have their own reasons for doing it, but that's what I'm going to do. So hang tight. I'll get the surface, get it back. Get the Honda Bond on there, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. All right, just want to show you how I spread my Honda Bond, aka gasket maker. You know, I just hit the four corners, 1, 2. I had some right here, top. And that's pretty much it. And I'm going to put this valve cover back on, and then we'll move to the rear, and it'll be rinse and repeat. All right, let's go ahead and put this valve cover back on. And that's how my finished product came out. I didn't do the best cleaning job, but you know, it is what it is. Oh yeah, we have one more step after we get this thing installed. Ouch. You have these spark plug tube seals that you have to push this back down. Alright, that's going to be like that. Forgot we have to switch out our grommets. So here's your grommets here, your new one. You're just gonna try your best to pop these off. I actually saw a video where a dude, probably do that. He just separated it like that and then cut this off. Cut the old one off. Again, there's another tool now that we didn't know we were gonna need. So he just did this, cut this puppy off. And that just helps you get that hardened rubber off of there. And then you're just gonna push your new seal in like that. That's it. So you gotta do that, 4 more times, all right? This is one of our longer screws, which went right there. And we're gonna do it again. If you can separate it. I guess it only works if you can separate there you go, rubber piece. Get your pliers here, snip down on it, break it loose, pull it out, slide your metal ring off, and put your new one on here. Just pushing that through. Just like so. All right, so I'm gonna finish these other 3 and come back. All right, now we're getting ready to torque down the bolts. So the manufacturer states to torque down or tighten bolts in 3 steps. The final steps, you'll bolt them in the sequence that I'm going to describe, and you'll torque them down to 12 Newton meters or 8.7 foot-pounds of torque. So this is we're gonna go 1, then you got 2 back here, 3 is next to it, 4 is up here, and 5 is all the way across. And again, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're gonna be torquing them down to 8.7 foot-pounds of torque. All right, so I'll torque down there. Now, we need a little bracket here that we had. It's our bracket that our bolts onto here. One area clips over there. Size 10. We got coil packs. These are also size 10 on the coils. One thing I'm going to do is clean off those connectors that we identified were super oily, the O2 sensor connectors. I'll hit those with some brake cleaner. We just want to make sure that oil doesn't cause any kind of false signals, things like that. These are size 10. Button these puppies down. Nothing too tight, guys. Don't use a lot of pressure on this stuff. I learned a long time. I used to have a couple of Civics, a couple of Integras. You know, that's how I learned and got my start working on Hondas and just really cars in general. But I learned over the years to just be gentle. You know, you don't have to apply so much force that you end up breaking things and causing yourself additional headaches. So as you can see, we're pretty much all done on the front. So we're going to move to the back. I'll do a video of that. But I'll be right back. I have to clean these connectors and then hook them back up, and we'll move on to the rear. All right, guys, I took the phone off the stand so we can see exactly what we're looking at back here. So looks like for the rear cover, you know, this is that bracket that we tucked away earlier. So that has a connector, but there's one size 10 there. It holds on the brackets, the wire harness bracket, similar to the front. Got one size 10. Where's that other one? Another size 10 there. This is the power steering hose. So there's a size 10 you need to take off there. Of course, your coil packs, 1, 2, and 3. Those are all size 10. You see your 2 bolts there. For your bottom bolts, which would be equivalent of those 2, but on the backside cover. And this actually looks like it's going to be fairly easy. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on this, and then we'll come back. It looks like this ground wire may have to come off, because it's hooked up to this. So if you disconnect that and your car doesn't start, you put all this back together and the car doesn't start, this is going to be one of your main reasons there, okay? All right, guys, so I'll be right back after we get some of these items loosened up. All right, there's something I want to show you guys with getting this off. So I have the coil packs out, as you can see, disconnected. You have 1, 2, like I said, you have, let's see if you can see it, 3. 4. Then you have this other one. You're probably wondering, where's the 5th bolt at? Up underneath this freaking harness here. So again, these are all size 10. So, you know, same size tools, but just want to show you the location of these items here for the rear cover. Doing a quick little video. Something almost just happened to me that I should have said, you know, 45 minutes ago in this video as a part of your kind of preventative steps to avoid anything major from happening. But it'd probably be smart for you to cover each of these intake ports, because that goes directly into your cylinder head. And if you drop something down there, you know, socket, something, you might as well say goodbye, you know, unless you have a borescope and, you know, some creative measure camera system to get down there and find it. It could be a headache for you. So just wanted to add that. And then also you have one last tube to remove from the rear cover here, and breaking the seal on the old valve cover. This is just an awkward deal here, but we're almost getting it off. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. All right. We are loose. We're over our spark plug tube seals, our spark plug tubes. And we're just trying to figure out a way where there is a wheel there is a way. Here we go. And ouch. There we go. And this valve cover is out. So just like that, you just wiggle it out. This one needs some cleanup. This one doesn't look nearly as bad as that front valve cover. It had a bunch of caked on oil and stuff, but okay, we're gonna get this cleaned up, get the new gasket and spark plug tubes installed like we did on the front, pop this thing back on and be done, put it all back together. All right, guys, I've been working diligently. I have the new gasket in, have the gasket sealer on there, have the new grommets on here. Now just working on putting back my coil packs, reconnecting my power steering hose, and that's it for this part. I mean, and then reconnecting this hose as well, and then torquing it down. And I'm gonna use the same sequence as what the specs recommended for the front, because on the front it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in this case, I'm gonna use 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, and then torque it down to the 8.7 foot-pounds. And then we'll put the intake manifold back on, throttle body back on, air filter back on, and we'll be done, guys. So this really wasn't that bad of a job, but I'll come back as I kind of make some more progress. All right, be right back. All right, guys, this is going to be the last portion of the video that I'm filming here. I have the intake manifold back on. Now all we have to do is essentially torque down the intake manifold, add back that cover that goes here, reconnect some hoses, install the throttle body and the air filter, and that'll be it. So as far as the torque sequence for these bolts, the manual says they're going to be torqued down to 16 foot-pounds, and the sequence is going to be, this is number 1, then you have number 2, then you have number 3, number 4, number 5 in the corner, number 6, number 7, number 7, which is the nut. Then you have number 8, and then you have number 9. All right, so that's going to be the torque sequence, and again, it's 16 foot-pounds. And I'm going to go ahead and get these snugged up, and I'll be back when they are torqued. We just want to get it started, that's all. That's 4. That's 5, 6, 7, that's 8, and 9. So we'll come back with the torque wrench. Set that puppy to is it 16? That's 15. Up 1. Can't really see it. 16. Oh. And by the way, this is the size 12. Size 12. As soon as I can find it, I can torque it down. Where's my size 12 at? Oh, right here. Oh. Helps to keep your tools all in one place. I had my size 12 out here. I was looking for my half-inch drive, size 12. That's the one that I seem to have lost. So, oh, here it is. I found it. Hey, I will. Go back inside real quick. Sorry, guys. That's my son. He just will not leave me alone when I'm not in the house. Has to see what daddy's up to. This is 3. This is 4. This is 5. 6, 7, 8, and 9. All right, so that's all torqued down to spec. A couple hoses. Slide that back on. This is going to be the other piece. Vacuum hose here. Vacuum hose here. Got your bracket right there. Alright. Wasn't too hard of a job, guys. It really wasn't. I mean, we're talking about potentially, you know, if I wasn't recording and I had to go do this Easter egg hunt with my son, so that took about an hour. So, I mean, all in all, if you have at least an hour and a half free, no distractions, emphasis on no distractions, you could get this done definitely in an hour and a half. I mean, it's really not that tough of a job. A little bit more difficult than your average 4-cylinder Honda engine, but still nothing too complex. Then I'm going to finish up lastly with putting on the chrome aluminum or shiny aluminum topper here, and that would be it. Let me go grab it. Okay. Oops. Uh-oh. Okay, make sure that gasket is good. Don't forget this plug whenever you plug it back up. It goes on like so. Oops. Oh, that's fine. Slide it over a little bit. Plug that up. And we're going to start putting these puppies on here. I'll be right back. By the way, I just want to show you where I'm getting my torque specs from. I just Googled 2008 intake manifold bolt sequence and then go to images. And it does show you here the sequence of the, this is actually the top piece here, but it did show, hold on. Yep, there's the intake manifold itself. And then this is the cover that we're putting on, that cover right there. So it looks like these torque down to 8.7 foot-pounds. And the sequence is going to be as follows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 11, and then 12 is all the way over here. All right, guys, that's all she wrote. Sorry for the long video this time. I mean, it is kind of difficult trying to do step by step, also learn, pay attention, and make sure, you know, every vacuum hose is back on and every bolt is torqued down. And, you know, actually this wasn't too hard of a job. This is, you know, one of the jobs that, for once, nothing went wrong. I mean, not one thing went wrong. I didn't lose a screw. I didn't drop a screw. Nothing fell down in those intake runners. Overall, it was a pretty easy job. I'd probably say give it a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, depending on your level of mechanical acuity and your, yeah, just the knowledge and your ability to operate tools and recognize what tools you need. So I appreciate you guys coming back. I might have another video coming up, probably do some struts on the MDX, and then probably these axles. I mean, we may trade this thing in and go get something else like a truck or something. We're still trying to see what our options are, but until we decide what we're going to do, we have to maintain it. So guys, if you have any questions, reach out to me. I'll do my best to get back to you. As always, like, subscribe, and let me know if there's any videos that you guys would like to see. And I'll let you know, if it's something that my vehicle is scheduled for as far as maintenance. I'm not just going to do a random thing, just for the video. But if it's something that I need to already do that I haven't done, then I would definitely do it for you guys. So if you have any questions, hit me up. Thank you guys. Have a good weekend.